Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
The last two classes, we have tried to understand different fabric parameters. And the process by which these fabric parameters can be found out, that is known as analysis. So it is known as fabric analysis, which is having these three objects: reproduction of same fabric, modification or development of new fabric, and to find the cost of fabric and to produce an economical fabric. To perform this analysis process, we require following apparatus, which I have already mentioned. And then we are categorizing parameters or particulars of fabric into two categories. One is analyzed particulars or analyzed parameters. Another one is loom particulars or loom parameters. Analyzed particulars or parameters are those parameters which we are analyzing from a given fabric sample. And because the fabric sample we are getting from a finished fabric, so all these data which we are getting by analysis of that sample are known as analyzed particulars or analyzed parameters. So in these analyzed particulars or parameters, we have already taken the definition and method of analysis in previous two classes. So I will just go through the names and then we will move forward to understand loom parameters. So analyzed parameters are finished EPI, finished PPI, weave, warp trim percentage, weft trim percentage, warp count, weft count, ply or twist of yarn in warp and weft both, fabric weight per meter square, that is known as GSM, fabric weight per running meter, cloth length, cloth width, and pattern of yarns in the warp and weft. These are the parameters which we are analyzing to reproduce the fabric or to modify the fabric or to find out the cost of the fabric. Then we have taken method of fabric analysis, in which first we have taken method of identifications. 4 methods we have discussed here. Then we have taken method of finding out different parameters like finished EPI, PPI, measurement of ply and twist of warp, then measurement of warp trim percentage and weft trim percentage, then measurement of warp count and weft count with the help of beazless balance and digital balance. Yes, now we have to start from here. Another parameters which are known as loom parameters or loom particulars. So as the name suggests, these parameters are used on loom to produce the fabric. And this fabric is finished. And after finishing, we are getting a finished fabric which is having the same parameters which we have analyzed from the given sample. So here we are doing a reverse process. First, we have the finished sample. We are analyzing it. Then we are calculating parameters of loom or particulars of loom. And by following these particulars or parameters of loom in the fabric, when it is produced on the loom, we are going to produce a graph fabric which is finished. And after finishing, we are getting the fabric of same parameters which we have analyzed. So this is a reverse process, you can say. So in loom parameters, the important parameters which we require to produce a fabric on loom, first is reed. Here the meaning of reed is reed count as well as the denting order. So here along meaning of reed is we are finding out reed count and we are finding out ends per dent. So ends per dent can be fixed, can be assumed according to weave. Ends per dent depends on the weave structure mainly. However, some other things are also considered, but generally it depends on the weave structure. And depending on the minimum repeat of the weave, we are deciding ends per dent. Like plain weave is repeating on 2 ends, so 2 ends per dent is taken as a denting order. 2 of 1 down twill or 1 of 2 down twill are repeating on 3 ends per dent, 3 ends per repeat. So the denting order for these 2 designs will be 3 ends per dent. Similarly, 3 up 1 down or 1 up 3 down and 2 up 2 down wheels are repeating on 4 ends per repeat. So, and denting order for these designs will be 4 ends per dent. Means ends per repeat is taken as ends per dent, generally speaking. So in this way, either you can assume ends per dent or you can observe when you are observing the read mark. At that time, you can observe the number of threads grouped together which are passing through one dent. And in that way, practically also you can find out ends per dent. So after finding out ends per dent, we can find out read count. So to find out the read count, one parameter we require that is known as loom EPI, ends per inch on the loom. And in the analyzed parameters, we have finished EPI. And because loom EPIs will be lesser than finished EPI by an amount that will be according to contraction allowed in the weft on the loom. And contraction allowed in the weft on the loom is known as weft crimp percentage, which we are also analyzing. So from these two parameters, we can find out loom EPI by using this formula, finished EPI into 1 minus weft crimp percentage upon 100. If you put the value of finished EPI in weft crimp percentage here, you will get loom EPI. Because loom EPI is lesser than finished EPI, that's why here we are using a sign of minus. Finished EPI, 1 minus weft crimp percentage. So you will get loom EPI on the fabric, in the fabric on the loom. With the help of this loom EPI and ends per dent, we can find out read count, as already we have taken the formula of EPI equal to read count by 2 into ends per dent. Just doing some transferring the values in this formula, read count can be calculated by 2 into loom EPI upon ends per dent. In this way, we find out read count and ends per dent. And these two parameters combinedly known as read. So along with the read, we'll write read count, and in the oblique, we will write ends per dent. In this way, this read is indicating the read count required to be taken for a particular fabric on the loom, and ends per dent when we are doing the drawing in process. Loom PPI can be calculated similarly as loom EPI, just changing EPI with PPI and weft crimp percentage with warp crimp percentage, you can calculate loom PPI. And by taking this loom PPI, finally you will get finished PPI in the required finished PPI in the fabric after finishing. Another parameter that is read width, that is also important parameter to decide the read, which type of read we have to take on the loom for the particular fabric, because read is specified by two parameters, read count and another is read width. So read width can be calculated from cloth width, which we are assuming for different fabrics, like for shooting 58 inches, for shirting it is 36 inches, for toweling it is 24 inches. So according to cloth width, because finally the read, whatever the read width we are taking on the loom, after contraction it is going to become cloth width. And that contraction depends on contraction of weft, the bending in the weft. So here we are taking weft crimp percentage. So read width will be slightly higher than cloth width. So after contraction, read width will contract and it will become cloth width. So cloth width, हमारे पास है weft crimp percentage, already we have analyzed parameters. So cloth width into 1 plus weft crimp percentage upon 100, you will get read width. Similarly, tap length can be calculated, and tap length can be understood as the length of warp which is used to produce a fabric having particular length. Means this is the length of the warp. Tap length is the particular length of the warp that is required to be taken on the warping machine. So after contraction, you will get the cloth length, required cloth length. If you take warp weaver's beam of cloth length, which we are getting from the market, then the fabric which we will get after the finishing will be lesser than the required. And that's why we consider the warp crimp percentage here. And by adding this warp crimp percentage with cloth length, you will get tap length, means the length of the warp to be taken on the loom. So tap length can be defined as length of the required length of warp on warping machine or weaver's beam to produce required length of cloth. And by using this formula, you can calculate tap length. These 4 parameters, first we calculate for loom parameters. Tap length, according to tap length, we are fixing the length of the warp on weaver's beam. According to reed width and this reed count, we are selecting the reed. According to loom PPI, we are setting the tack-up motion so that we can get a required PPI in the fabric on the loom, and after contraction we can get the required finished PPI in the fabric. And with the help of reed and this denting order, reed count and denting order, we are finally getting loom EPI, which after contraction converting into finished EPI. In this way, these 4 important parameters can be calculated. Another parameter, that is body ends and selvage ends and total ends in the fabric. So total ends can be calculated by using a very simple formula, because we have reed count. Reed count means dents per 2 inch. So dents per 2 inch, if we have dents per 2 inch, it will be divided by 2. So you will get dents per inch. If it is multiplied by ends per dent, you will get ends per inch in the fabric, that we are calculating here. This loom EPI, ends per inch in the fabric on the loom. If it is multiplied by reed width, because this is number of ends in 1 inch of the fabric. If you multiply loom EPI by reed width is measured in inches. So अगर 1 inch के अंदर इतने ends हैं, तो जो reed width है उसमें कितने ends होंगे, that can be calculated, and that will be total ends. So by a very simple manner, you can calculate just by multiplying loom EPI by reed width, you can calculate total ends. But sometimes there is difference in density of selvage and body. And for different selvages on different looms, we have different calculations. So to avoid the confusion, what we are doing, instead of directly calculating, sometimes we are, if these parameters are not given, like selvage details are not given, then you can directly follow this formula, loom EPI multiplied by reed width, that will be total ends. That is a very simple method. But if we have to include, or some parameters of selvage are given and we have to consider those parameters, then it will be the body ends will be calculated in a different manner. And for that, we are directly not calculating the ends. First, we are calculating dents, because ends per dent in the selvage and ends per dent in the body may be different. And due to that, to avoid that difference, the effect of that difference, first we are calculating directly the dents. So total dents, because dents will remain fixed. Whatever the denting order you are taking, ends per dent you are taking, that is not going to affect the number of dents. So first we are calculating total dents. Total dents can be calculated by taking reed count in Stockport system and divided by 2. So reed count in Stockport system means dents per 2 inch divided by 2 in dents per inch. और dents per inch को अगर reed width से multiply कर दें हम, तो we will get total dents. Then we calculate selvage dents by taking selvage width. And selvage width is assumed and fixed for different fabrics. So selvage dents can be calculated again by taking reed count in Stockport system divided by 2. That is dents per inch. But instead of reed width, we will multiply by selvage width. Reed width for total dents, but for selvage dents, it will be multiplied by selvage width. And because selvage is constructed at both the side of fabric, so total selvage dents will be calculated by multiplying it by 2. So selvage dents multiplied by 2, you will get total selvage dents. And now you can calculate body dents by subtracting this total selvage dents from total dents. Total dents में से अगर total selvage dents minus कर दें, तो जो बचा हुआ part है, that is body dents. In this way, you can calculate body dents. And if body ends, we have to calculate body ends, then body dents multiplied by ends per dent in the body. Body dents को अगर ends per dent in the body से हम multiply करें, we will get body ends. And similarly, we can calculate selvage ends टोटल सैल्वेज डेंट्स को अगर एंड्स पर डेंट इन द सैल्वेज से मल्टीप्लाई कर दें तो विल गेट टोटल सैल्वेज एंड्स, and by adding these two body ends and salvage ends you will get total. So if you follow this process, then there will be we will consider the effect of the different salvages in which we are taking different density of salvage as compared to body. But if it is not mentioned, you can calculate just by multiplying loom EPI by reed width. There is no need to go through this long process. But if type of salvages are given and salvage details are given, then you have to consider this process, because in plain salvage, which is made on shuttle looms, and here we have to understand one point: the density of the salvage or overall strength of the salvage should be around 1.5 times more than body ends, body part of the fabric. Body का जो density है fabric का, उससे salvage का density ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, because salvages are the borders and they are facing more stresses at the edges, and that's why salvage should be stronger as compared to body, and that is assumed around 1.5 times. And that 1.5 times greater density of salvage can be achieved in two ways, either by increasing warp density or by increasing weft density. So depending on the salvage, in plain salvage, because weft density of body and weft density of salvage is same, so what we are doing in plain salvages, which is made on shuttle looms, we are taking ends, we are doubling the ends per dent in the salvage as compared to body. If in the body we are taking ends per dent equal to 2 for plain weave, then in salvage we will take 4, just double. So your density of warp will be double in the salvage as compared to body, and weft density is same in salvage and body. So overall it will increase by, on average it will increase by 1.5 times. That is required. So whenever plain salvage is given, ends per dent in the body and ends per dent in the salvage will be different. If ends per dent in the body is X, then ends per dent in the salvage we have to take 2X. But if it is tucking salvage, which is generally made on shuttle-less looms, in this case we are using a tucking needle which is provided on loom, which takes the projecting small ends of weft in salvage. कुछ ends जो project out होते हैं picks, उनको हम वापस उसको salvage के अंदर tuck in कर देते हैं needle के through, और इस तरह से जो pick density है salvage में, that is doubled as compared to pick density in the body. और जब पिक डेंसिटी या वेफ डेंसिटी अगर सैल्वेज में डबल हो गई है तो हमें वार्प की डेंसिटी को डबल करने का जरूरत नहीं होता है. इन दैट केस एंड्स पर डेंट इन द बॉडी एंड एंड्स पर डेंट इन द सैल्वेज विल रिमेन सेम. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द सैल्वेजेस वी आर यूजिंग इन द फैब्रिक, you can calculate total ends. Generally we are using salvage width according to the salvage. Some salvages are produced without monogram, or some salvages are produced with monogram. Monogram means the portion on which the name of the company is written, like BSL shooting, Vimal shooting, Raymond shooting. You will see the fabric in the market on the edges, the name of the company is written, that is known as monogram. So some fabrics you will see without monogram, some fabric you will see with monogram. So in that, depending on the cases, either it is without monogram or with monogram, you have to decide the salvage width. So generally salvage width for without monogram fabric is 0.5 inches, and assuming that 1/4 inches is required for monogram, with monogram it is 3/4 inches. This will also depend on the salvage details, if it is given with monogram or without monogram. If it is not given, you can assume any one. So in this way, salvage details are containing type of salvage, it is plain salvage or tuck-in salvage. Depending on plain salvage or tuck-in salvage, we are deciding ends per dent in the salvage and ends per dent in the body. If it is plain salvage, means made on shuttle looms, weft density is same for body and salvage. That's why warp density is doubled by taking ends per dent in the salvage, double of ends per dent in the body. But if it is tuck-in salvage, weft density is doubled automatically due to this tuck-in part of the projecting end of the pick, in both the sides, that is equal to salvage width, and that's why weft density is doubled in the salvage as compared to body, and there is no need to take double warp density. Warp density will remain same in the salvage as the body. And depending on width, depending on monogram or without monogram, you can decide salvage width. These two parameters, ends per dent in the body and salvage, and the width of the salvage will depend on salvage details given in the question. And accordingly, you can perform the calculations. After calculating total ends, you can calculate weight of the fabric in grams. So calculation of weight of the fabric, and here we need a basic concepts of count measurement, which you have already done, how we calculate count in different yarn numbering system. And here we are assuming cotton count or English cotton count system. So here the definition of English cotton count system is required. And according to English cotton count system, count is defined as the number of hanks, each of 840 yards in 1 pound weight. It is fixed weight system. So weight is 1 pound. 1 pound weight के अंदर 840 yards के कितने hanks बनते हैं या कितनी lees बनती हैं, that number of lees or hanks will give you the yarn number in English cotton count system. If suppose it is given 30 is English cotton count of a particular yarn, it means if we are taking this yarn and of 1 pound yarn of this count and making lees of 840 yards, 30 lees or 30 hanks of 840 yards will be there. And that is the meaning of English cotton count. So if you remember the formula of cotton count by just using this definition, which I have mentioned right now, cotton count can be put in the formula like length in yards upon 840 into weight in pounds. In this way, we can define cotton count. And this basic concept of cotton count is used to find out the weight of warp and weight of weft. And by adding weight of warp and weight of weft, we are getting fabric weight in grams per running meter. Running meter means length is 1 meter and width is actual width of the fabric. So by this, we are getting fabric weight in grams per running meter, not GSM. We are getting fabric weight in grams per running meter by adding weight of warp in grams and weight of weft in grams. So because here we have the unit grams and meter, that's why we need conversions in this formula. And because here we have to find out weight, and here in this we are having in this side cotton count, and here the weight in pound. So what we will do, we transfer weight in pound here and cotton count here. And that will become warp count and weft count, and accordingly the values will be put, because we are measuring warp count and weft count in analyzed parameters. So using this basic concept, now you can understand the formula which is required to calculate weight of warp. So weight of warp can be calculated because here we require length in yards. So length, but we have the length in meter, we require length in yards. So total end, what will be the total length of warp? The total length of warp will be total ends into tap length, because tap length is the length of one warp. And if you multiply it by total ends, it means you will get, if you multiply total ends with tap length, which is length of one warp, you will get total length of warp, which is required here, length of warp. And because it is required in yards and we have in meters, so 1 meter equal to 1.0936 yards. So we have multiplied this total ends into tap length by 1.0936. So the length we are getting in yards. So total ends multiplied by tap length multiplied by 1.0936 divided by 840 is there. कॉटन काउंट की जगह हम यहाँ पे क्योंकि वार्प का वेट निकाल रहे हैं इसलिए वार्प काउंट लिख देंगे 840 into warp count. And because here the weight we are getting in pounds, and but we require in grams, and 1 pound equal to 453.6 grams. So this pound will be multiplied by 453.6 you will get the weight of warp in grams. These are the conversion factors: 1.0936 from meter to yards and 453.6 from pounds to grams, because we required units are meters and grams. So we have converted by putting the conversion factors of meter into yards and pounds into grams, and finally we are getting this formula. Here total ends, tap length and warp count will depend on different fabrics. So these are the variables. अलग-अलग fabric के लिए total ends अलग होंगे, tap length अलग होगी और warp count अलग होगा. So these three are the variables, but here you can see this 1.0936 is constant, 453.6 is constant, and 840 is constant. So if you calculate this constant and get one value, 1.0936 into 453.6 divided by 840, अगर आप इसको calculate करते हैं, finally you will get 0.59. And that's why I have replaced all these three constants with one constant, 0.59. And finally, we are getting this formula for weight of warp in grams, that is equal to 0.59 into total ends into tap length, that is in meters, divided by warp count, that is in English cotton count system. So if you put the values of tap length in meters here, which we are calculating in loom parameters from cloth length by using a formula. So you put the value of tap length here, and warp count also we are finding out with that in the analyzed parameters. So also you can put the value of this here. So final formula is 0.59 into total ends into tap length upon warp count by putting the values of tap length in meters and warp count in English cotton count system. Resultant count, put the value of resultant count here. बिजनेस बैलेंस से हमें रिजल्टेंट काउंट ही मिल रहा है, उसकी वैल्यू अगर हम यहाँ पुट करते हैं तो फाइनली यू विल गेट वेट ऑफ वार्प इन ग्राम्स. ओके, सिमिलरली weight of weft can be calculated just by using the same concept but changing the values. Instead of total ends and tap length we will use reed width. tap length की जगह reed width आएगा और total ends की जगह यहाँ पर PPI आएगा and into cloth length आ जाएगा and divided by weft count. So by putting the values of PPI, reed width, cloth length and weft count, you will get weight of weft in grams. 0.59 we are getting the same way by calculating these three variables. So in this way, weight of warp and weight of weft can be calculated, and by adding these two, you can get fabric weight per running meter in grams. In this way, calculation of weight of a fabric can be done. And the questions may be asked in the examination based on this. And if you want to convert this fabric weight in grams per meter square, just take the fabric weight which we are calculating per running meter and divide it by reed width in inches. And because reed width is given in inches and we want in meters, so inches can be converted in meters by dividing it by 39.36 or 37. So here, by using this formula, you can convert fabric weight from running meter into GSM, grams per square meter. So this is all about the fabric parameters. Both the category of fabric parameters, analyzed parameters and loom parameters we have covered in the last 2-3 lectures, 2 lectures before and 1 lecture today. So total in 3 lectures we have calculated and taken all the parameters of fabric along with the calculations of weight of warp and weight of weft and weight of fabric. And depending on this, some questions may be asked in the examination related with calculation of weight of fabric. But I have explained all these things so that you can know details about the fabric parameters, because as a textile chemistry students, you are going to face the fabrics which you are getting from the weaving department. After gray checking, you are getting the fabric which is produced on loom, that is known as gray fabric. And your work is to finish the fabric or do the processes of processing department to apply the finishes and dyes and all these things. So these three lectures are very important. So just go through the videos again, and if you have any query, any question, your questions are always welcomed. So if you have any questions, still we have few minutes. You can ask. I will just go through all the contents once again, so that if you have any question at any point, you can stop me and ask. We have started our topic of fabric parameters with fabric analysis, because analysis is the process, it's a practical approach to find out the fabric parameters. Fabric parameters we have divided into two categories: analyzed parameters, which can be analyzed by using all these apparatus, all these implements, and from these analyzed parameters, we can calculate loom parameters by using some formulas which I have explained today. And why we are doing all this process of fabric analysis? To achieve these three objects, to obtain these three objects, we are doing this whole process. So here I have explained you analyzed parameters, analyzed particulars. Total 17 parameters we are analyzing in this lab, and few parameters are analyzed in textile fiber lab and testing lab, like twist per inch you will learn in textile testing lab, and blend percentage you have already learned in textile fiber lab. That is also analyzed particulars or required parameters of fabric. And so that we have not included those parameters, because already you have done or you will do in the coming semester. Finished EPI, finished PPI, weave, warp crimp, weft crimp, warp count, weft count, warp ply, weft ply, means ply in the warp yarn, ply in the weft yarn, direction of twist in the warp yarn, direction of twist in the weft yarn. It may be S twisted, it may be Z twisted, it may be single ply, it may be double ply, it may be 3 ply, it may be 4 ply. Then fabric weight per meter square, which we are finding out by taking a fabric sample of square size, like 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter or 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter according to sample size, weighing it and then converting it to weight per meter, weight in grams per meter square by using conversion factors, as I explained earlier. Then fabric weight per running meter can be also calculated with this. Cloth length, cloth width is depending on the end uses of the fabric, and accordingly we are assuming the different cloth widths. Then pattern of the warp and weft, if it is given in the fabric. Some fabrics are without pattern in the warp and weft, simple fabrics, then there is no need of analyzing warp pattern and weft pattern. In stripe fabrics, we have to analyze either warp pattern or weft pattern depending on the stripe. And in check fabric, we have to analyze warp pattern and weft pattern both. Then method of fabric analysis, first step required before starting the analysis process or finding out the different parameters, different analyzed parameters, that is identification of warp and weft direction. And that is done with the help of 4 different methods which are given in sequence according to their priority. If salvage is given with the sample, then it is very easy to find out which is warp and which is weft. The salvage is parallel to warp threads. It is very easy to find out which is warp direction and which is weft direction. Then reed mark. This method also can be used by observing the fabric in sunlight or strong artificial light and observing the reed marks. And because reed mark is taking place in the warp-wise direction, so you can find out the direction of warp by using reed mark. But if sometimes the fabric is very dense and it is not having selvage, then these 2 methods cannot be applied. For that, we are applying third method. And generally, EPI is higher than PPI in the fabric. Using this concept, first we are finding out threads per inch in the warp and threads per inch in the weft, and which side is higher, that is warp side. And also we can use another method which is not much reliable. That's why I'm not emphasizing on this method. Generally, weft crimp percentage is higher than warp crimp percentage. Then how finished EPI is measured, how finished PPI is measured, how ply is measured, how twist is find out, then how we measure the warp crimp and weft crimp and put the values in this formula and calculate warp crimp percentage and weft crimp percentage. Then how we find out warp count and weft count with the help of Beazley's balance or digital balance. Digital balance method is not mentioned here. However, I have explained here what we are doing. We are taking number of threads of particular length. So the particular number and particular length. Multiplying by particular length and particular number, you are getting particular length of the yarn. And we weigh it on digital balance or electronic balance and getting the weight in grams. So we have the length in centimeters and weight in grams. And now you can convert into the required units according to different yarn numbering system. And you can convert it into the required yarn numbering system. Either it is English cotton count, numeric count, tax, or days. Then we are calculating loom parameters from analyzed parameters, which I have explained just today. That here we are first calculating loom EPI from finished EPI and weft crimp percentage, and then converting this loom EPI into reed count, because loom EPI directly cannot be taken on the loom in the fabric. For that, what we are doing, we are taking a particular reed count and a particular denting order. With the help of reed count and particular denting order, we are getting the particular EPI in the fabric. And that's why here reed means reed count and ends per dent. Loom PPI, just by taking finished PPI and warp crimp percentage, we are getting loom PPI in the fabric. And this is set it with the help of tack-up mechanism. By using a, if it is 5-wheel or 7-wheel tack-up motion, already we have taken these topics. So by using particular dividend according to 5-wheel or 7-wheel tack-up motion, we can decide the number of teeth in the change wheel, and by taking that change wheel, you will get that particular PPI in the fabric. Reed width with the help of cloth width and weft crimp percentage, tap length with the help of cloth length and warp crimp percentage, then body ends or total ends, and then calculation of weight can be done by calculating weight of warp first, then weight of weft, and these we are calculating in grams and unit. Here we are using meter, so we are applying the conversion factors in the formula of cotton count. Because in cotton count we have the length in yards and pounds. Here we required in weight in grams and length in meters. That's why we are using this conversion factor, meter to yards and pounds to grams, and by we are getting a conversion factor, a particular factor here, a particular constant here with the help of these two constants, these three constants, and we are keeping the variables. So that will depend on fabric, and that will change fabric to fabric. Similarly, weight of weft and weight of fabric in grams per square meter can be calculated. So students, I have repeated all the topics once again. So I hope this will be clear to you. Still go through the video I will upload on the MLVT CE content. If you have any question, you are most welcome. Thank you.